And we are live once again. Hello and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome once again to Do It Yourself Budget Hot Rodding. Okay, uh, this is kind of an unusual do it yourself budget hot rodding. A topic that evidently has kind of come up kind of willy nilly. Uh, if you will, let me kind of give you a rundown. An old coworker of mine was telling me how he used to have a '66 Ford Falcon, had to give it up. One day he hoped to have a project car. Another friend was telling me that she always wanted a '66 or a '67 uh, Chevy Nova Super Sport or the Chevy 2 Nova Super Sport. And um, kind of, here I drive an old 75 Maverick, and that's not exactly what I had in mind when I started searching out a classic car as a daily driver. And some people said, you've had some really awesome cars over the years, Prince Magnum. How did you, get so doggone lucky, And for the record, my dream car is a '57 Chevy, and what this live stream is about is not necessarily you're going to get the car of your dreams, but how do you kind of build something that, dreams are made of? How do you go about that? Life starts happening. How do you make that happen? And that's what this live stream is about. Okay. For the record, Project Spirit, awesome car. I love her to pieces. Uh, got a lot of things got to do to her to keep her rocking and rolling, but she wasn't exactly high on the priority list of cars that, I necessarily wanted. When I seen her, I was like, sight unseen, other than a few pictures, I was like, okay, that'll work. That will fit the bill. So, Prince Magnum, how do you go about that? That's easy. That's actually very easy. That's what this live stream is about, is to kind of how do if I didn't have Project Spirit, how would I go about finding those particular, that particular car that dreams are made of, if you will. So that's what I'm going to try to convey to all of you, and hopefully I do a really good job, because really, I mean, the modern way of doing it is sometimes it's a hit or miss. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you don't. So I'm going to incorporate, just kind of bear with me. Hopefully, you all will see where I'm going with this. All right. Today's society has this whole focus right now, and I'm going to, let's start off with busting a myth. Today's society has this whole focus that you got to go to college, you got to have a car payment, and all this other stuff like that. Here on the Prince Magnum channel, we think outside the box. So first things first. Um, when you're going to do the whole dream car thing, basically build the car the dreams are made of, um, which would probably be a better title. First things first is logistics. What do you have available to you? What classic cars are available to you in your area, and how do you go about that? First things first, uh, you got to pay the bills. Go to work. Okay, just go to work and be a success. Whatever your job is, I don't care what it is. Doesn't matter if you got a high school diploma or not. Doesn't matter if you got a college degree or not, or if you went to trade school. I don't care about all that. Just go to work. Okay, go to work and make money. Okay, uh, that whole thing where you have to go. No, just go to work and make money. Period. Just go to work and make money. All right. Um, that should be first priority. Make your money. Okay. Um, that should almost be a subject for another. For Actually, that is going to be a subject coming up kind of some life lessons for our millennial friends of the channel. But just go to work and make money and start putting money back. Okay. What you got is good enough for now, but just start putting money back. Now, this sort of thinking is not going to get you that, like I have a hard time keeping up with Lamborghini now, but I know whenever I was growing up, everyone wanted, all the guys wanted a Lamborghini Countach. So it's not going to get you that Lamborghini that you were wanting, but this will get you, this will get you your start and start, saving your money. How much? Whatever you can afford. Any money is money, okay? And from there, start beating the bushes. Um, One of the things that we do where I live, when you want a project car, get in your current car and hit the back roads. I promise you, you will find something. And in most cases nowadays, people just want to get rid of those cars. And a lot of times you can pick them up for a song. If you see them, I know we found Project Spirit on Craigslist, sight unseen, in a few pictures, and we got lucky on that. But it doesn't always go that well. It just hit the back roads, see what you come across. Um, Again, a lot of times, most people, a lot of people out there would, you'd be surprised what you'll find. Just get out there and start beating the bushes, literally. It may not necessarily be the car that you're exactly after, but it might be the car that'll get you, it's not necessarily the car of your dreams, but you can build the car that dreams are made of. Okay. Um, and eventually, I might actually show you guys what you might actually find. It might be that cool pickup truck that maybe some people, maybe it's like, oh, it's not exactly the year I want, but it's a cool looking truck or something to that effect. Get out there and start beating the bushes on that. Okay. Um, so, if you will, I know it's getting late, but tomorrow's Sunday. Tomorrow's a good day. If you're not in church, if you're a churchgoer after church, but if you're like me, get out there and start driving. See what start kicking up stones and start looking at your pocketbook. Okay. If you've been saving money, there's an excellent chance you might be able to afford it. And a lot of times, there are a lot of people out there that are more than willing to get rid of that car because they just don't want to see it sit there and rust away to nothing. Now, there are going to be some people that will try to price gouge you and all that. Move on, move on. Or try to sell you that, they won't sell. Maybe sometime I'll have to show you, but years ago I tried to buy an old Ford Falcon actually. Um, oh, wow. I'll have to look at that. My buddy from BST4 channel just put up an awesome video. I'll have to check that out. He does a lot of do-it-yourself stuff as well. But just start beating those bushes. Where I live here in the Midwest, not the South, um, one of the things that we do is, we'll actually, like I said, we'll drive the back roads. And I started to, before I got that post, believe it or not, over in the Pilot Knob area, there's this Ford Falcon that I tried to buy when I was a teenager, and it's still sitting there because the guy said, "Oh, I'm gonna fix it up." Yeah, right. You're gonna run into that, but you just keep beating the bushes. A lot of times we go up, knock on the door, and say, "Hey, I seen the car sitting over there. Just out of curiosity, is the car for sale?" And it's if it's sitting in the weeds, is the car for sale? And then a lot of times they're like, hadn't thought about it or something like that, and you'd be surprised. Um, I've actually seen pretty decent prices on cars. Matter of fact, I was actually going to buy a early '80s Chevy S10 that was in really good condition. Um, the deal kind of fell through, but I almost bought, a running Chevy S10, perfect for customizing, for $1,000, and I could have drove it home. But the deal kind of fell through before I could seal that deal. I've nearly bought an '83 Chevy El Camino. That'd have been a heck of a nice choice. Nearly bought. Shoot, this is just a few examples. But you know, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I know there's a lot of you young ones out there that it's a lot of that shoulda, woulda, coulda stuff. And you'll find that as you get older, you basically put off building, if you will, that car that dreams are made of, because, you know, there's going to be a million excuses in your world, and stop making excuses. Go out and do it, sort of thing. One of the things that, somebody one day came up, they were looking at Project Spirit, and they're like, uh, you know, I wish I had a cool car like this. And I'm sitting there going, well, why are you, wishing? Why aren't you out there doing? And they're like, well, I don't have the money. What kind of car you got? And they showed me. I said, what the hell's wrong with building this? You know, get yourself that step closer, because I've even it's something else that I really should tell you all about. Um, I've known people that would flip cars, if you will, not literally. They would basically buy up cheap cars and would get them running right and put a little bit of work into them, turn right around, sell them for a profit, and they would keep doing this, kind of build their cash flow up. Or people that would just save money and work really hard, put in all the overtime they could, and then they built up the money, and then they started building their dream car. Uh, things like that. So don't sit there and, wish, 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 because then you'll be like some people that I know that, it's 20, 30, 40 years later, and they're still wishing that they had that cool car. And you'll see them at car shows. It's absolutely the most depressing thing you'll ever see. I kid you not, folks. Um, and I've talked about this in another video a long time ago. So we've already done kind of what I'm talking about. Uh, where they'll kind of sit there and wish in one hand and crap in the other to see which one gets fuller. You know, they didn't go out and make their dreams happen, okay? There's a million ways to get to get the car of your dreams, or to build the car that dreams are made of. You just got to get out there and do it. Is what I'm really getting at in all of this. There's a million ways to do it. You know, after this live stream, if you will, if you're not out there making it happen, then you're missing the boat. Okay. If there's one thing I've learned in life, okay, opportunity happens when you make it happen. Logistics and all that other, it's all bull crap. You have to make it happen. Okay. That's why I've got Project Spirit. She's not necessarily the first choice on my list of the cars that I wanted. Okay. But it's definitely the car that fits what I need. And as we progress along, as you've watched me over the last few years since we've had Project Spirit, you've watched her kind of become the car that dreams are made of. And as time continues, you'll see more and more of that. Okay. And yes, I've had to call in favors. Yes, I've had to do this, and I've had to do that, and I've had to experience this, and I've had to. Is it worth it? Yeah, it is to me. It's a labor of love. So, if you will, if you want your dreams to happen, you have to go out and make them happen. Okay? Go out, work hard, put in the time and effort. Doesn't matter the job, just put the time in. If you want that cool, awesome car, you've got to work for it. Okay? You have to work for it. Okay? And a lot of, I've seen, again, I've seen a lot of young uh, car enthusiasts who could easily become uh, amazing gearheads themselves, go to car shows, and they're looking at the cool cars, wishing, 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 and they're not making it happen. Okay? That's as simple as it gets. Stop wishing, start making it happen. If you will, wishing about it is a pipe dream. Making it happen is making those dreams reality. And don't let anything stand in your way. Okay? If you became a young parent, who cares? Your kids want you to be happy. If you're a single parent, your kids still want you to be happy. Go make it happen. Okay? Go make it happen. As a matter of fact, Princess Faye has told me her dream car. And one of the things that I'll be doing here on the channel is trying to make that dream come true. Okay? As a husband, it's part of my job, that sort of thing. A little bit of surviving romance thrown in there for you, too. But at the same time, if she wants it bad enough, too, she'll get out there and make it happen. She's trying. We're working towards that. That's part of the whole thing. If you want your dreams come true, you got to go out and make them happen. So if you want your dream car, get out there and work on it. Okay? Make that dream come true. While we're on that subject, there's actually a YouTube video, and I forget the name of it, and I do apologize. Just search it out. There was actually a guy who had always dreamed of having a Lamborghini Countach. He's talking about that. And he literally built one on his own. It was a full-on replica. He actually bought and pieced it together little by little on his own and made it happen. It was one of them. It took him many years to do it. He did it in his basement. He actually had to dig, away and cut a hole so he could actually pull the car out. Eventually, he ended up selling it. He said, the real love came from, when he was building it. But of course, the reason why he sold it is because he had built it, but then once he had it, he stopped taking care of that dream. But he made that dream come true. He worked on it, took many years to do it, and that sort of thing. So, I mean, in that regard, he's a very awesome man. So, if you will, make your dreams come true, and if you will, I would almost suggest, you're hearing me say this a lot, get out there and do it. I would suggest maybe, if you want that dream, if you need a reminder, play this video often. Go out and make it happen. You don't need anybody's approval. I know the popular thing is go to college, all that. If you will, when it comes to making dreams come true, what is right may not be popular, and what's popular may not be right. So bear that in mind. The next time someone tells you, follow your heart on this one. The best suggestion I can give, because eventually, I know if I work hard enough, put forth enough effort here on my channel, at work, and all that other stuff, eventually I will too have my dream car, which is a 1957 Chevy Bel Air. Hopefully one of these days I'll have a whole fleet of 50s cars. May have to go to Cuba, but I'll make it happen. I hear they have 57 Chevys just everywhere in Cuba. But anyhow, so there you have it, folks. I guess you could say this is kind of my motivational speech. So, again, get out there and make your dreams come true. That's the real crux of it. I mean, eventually we'll do an edited video showing you that there are really cool cars on those back roads. It's just a matter of working hard, saving your money, and finding one that's in your price range, and then you can just build it and make a vehicle that dreams are made of. And maybe if you do well enough and it's the right vehicle, you might be able to turn around and sell it for a nice hefty little price and get the dream car that you've always dreamt of, or just, you know where I think everyone knows where I'm trying to come from on this. So, all right. Let's go ahead and start winding this down. Let's get caught up on a few current events. I've got a video to load. I initially wasn't going to load it, but I'm going to load it, and we'll talk about that in a possible live stream tomorrow. Uh, about a couple of music videos that I loaded as of recent. We're also working up to doing the live stream. Uh, hey, what's up, brother? Uh, we're going to talk about a live, in a live stream. Someone brought up a topic, and now since the topic been brought up, and it's one that I've tried to avoid for quite a while because I've got some pretty radical thinking on it. We're working up to that very quickly, backed by popular demand. Let's see. If you've not checked out those videos of me on stage singing, you really should. I mean, I don't think I'm too terribly bad. I'm actually pretty good. And more as time goes on, there's getting more and more requests of me singing, and there's more and more requests of me doing the amateur magic and all that other stuff. That's wow. What do you say to that? If the Prince Magnum channel keeps growing the way it's growing, eventually I know I'm going to be starting to make money hand over fist. And if that starts happening, gosh dang it, I'm going to have handlers when I go out in public. It's going to be crazy. Just almost to that point now. That's one of them things. Um, let's see. The Prince Magnum channel will continue to hit Laz's Bar and Grill. We tried to do a live stream, but it crashed. That sucked. But like I said, I've got another video from last night as I'm doing this video to load. And initially, I started to say it. I didn't think I did a very good job, but there was a lot of people that said that I did and are asking me to load it. So, backed by popular demand, I'm going to do that. The Maverick Nation has spoken, if you will. So, I'm going to do that. All right, let's see. Oh, let me ask you before I answer that question. Let me ask you: what's my favorite Kiss song to listen to, or my favorite one to sing? That before I, or am I going to answer both? Because that's a good question. Actually, I'll just go ahead and answer both. I'll answer both. Okay, yeah. Yeah, let's do both. My favorite one to listen to, uh, actually, there's a lot of them I enjoy listening to. Believe it or not, take your pick at any of them out of the 80s, or the 90s for that matter, when it comes to Kiss songs. Um, but if I really had to choose an all-time favorite, um, okay, for diehard Kiss fans, it's not some of them get kind of, get kind of testy about it, but I'll go ahead. Their song off of Dynasty, "I Was Made for Loving You," is probably one of my all-time favorites to listen to. I love the disco sound, and it was really, I guess you could say, in many ways, it was an experimental song for Kiss. Uh, you know, if you will, I mean, they did what was popular at the time, and it worked. Even though it turned off a lot of diehard Kiss fans, it was really kind of number one all around the world, and it's different. I like that. I occasionally like to see bands try something a little different. Um, so in that regard, it would probably be one of my all-time favorites to listen to. But take your pick of any song out of the 80s or 90s, because I mean, that time frame for Kiss doesn't get enough credit. Um, But now my favorite one to sing, all time favorite. Um, if you were my all time favorite Kiss song to sing is believe it or not, "Rock and Roll All Night." No, thank you, I appreciate that. Um, my all time favorite one to sing is "Rock and Roll All Night." The reason why, it's one of those songs that it is a classic. It is a classic. Um, to be honest, it really the main reason why I like singing that one in particular is it's a song that the crowd can get behind. It's one that everybody knows, everyone can, and I've had instances. I wish I had him on camera, or either I have had him on camera, and I might have accidentally deleted them. But there's been times that people will sing the song with me, and that's always fun because it's not just me; it's the whole crowd, and I love doing that. Um, but also, for the record, when it comes to me on stage doing karaoke music, I'm going to say it right now up front. Believe it or not, I actually like doing love songs more than anything. It's just one of those things, that's part of, I enjoy the love songs and doing the sweet stuff and everything. It's just one of those things that a lot of people, it just depends on my crowd and who's singing other stuff. What other singers, whenever I go sing karaoke, it also depends on what they're doing. If they're doing a lot of country music and a lot of almost sappy, my dog jumped the fence country songs, uh, my wife left me, my dog jumped the fence, and here I am crying in my beer. uh, the smartest thing that any experienced karaoke singer can do is not, at that point they need to speed it back up, because you've got a bar crowd and you will lose that bar crowd in a real hurry if you basically throw in a love song at that point. You're going to kill that crowd. So because a lot of times I'm kind of forced into that situation, um, where I'm kind of, you know, because where I live here in the Midwest, it gets kind of sappy with it's like, dude, could somebody else just sing so I can do what I want? And unfortunately, I get stuck kind of being that elder statesman, if you will. It gets dropped in my lap, the elder statesman. Let's speed this back up. Let's have some fun here. And I don't get to do a lot of times what I really want to do. And on top of that, I'm also stuck in that situation where the crowd starts asking me to do certain songs. And, you know, last night I always wanted to do a Typo Negative song, and I finally got the opportunity to do one that I've been wanting to do on stage for a little bit. It didn't sound as good as I thought it should, but it wasn't bad. So I finally got to do something I wanted to do. Um, I also I accidentally lost the footage, but I also rickrolled the bar one night. Yeah, yeah, I actually did that. So to answer your question, my personal all-time favorite song to sing by Kiss is "Rock and Roll All Night." Um, while we're also on that subject, if you've all been wondering why there's a lot more versions of me on stage singing "Calling Dr. Love," believe it or not, the real reason behind that is, yeah, it is a good song. I'll, I'll go ahead and tell the story. I was going to save this for a different live stream, but I'll go ahead and tell the story. Way back in high school, I basically got dared to sing uh, my favorite Kiss song, and at that time, "Calling Dr. Love" was one of my all-time favorite Kiss songs. Back whenever I was a teenager, and I got talked into it. So basically, I got in front of the entire high school cafeteria and sang this song. And unfortunately, I get stuck. some old high school friends will come in and they'll watch me. They'll be like, it's like it's almost an unwritten rule if anybody from high school comes in to watch, to listen to me sing, I have to do that song. It's almost like an unwritten rule. And I think at some point I'm probably going to have to kind of say, hey guys, maybe we need to leave this in the past where it belongs. Nothing against old memories, but I think at some point we have to evolve beyond what we did maybe 20 and over 20 years ago. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I like singing "Calling Dr. Love," but it's one of those things. At some point, I would like to move beyond just singing that song. But that's something that past where it is. We can reflect on it from time to time, but let's not. We don't have to relive it every freaking second. But that's another subject for another live stream. It's just one of them things. All right. Again, we got a little off topic, but hey, I'll do that for any member of the Maverick Nation. I'll do that for any member of the Maverick Nation because why? I could say this stuff in the mirror all day long, but it's really the people that come on and watch the videos and who subscribe. They're the Maverick Nation. I'm just the voice of reason for all of us. Well, I appreciate everything that you and all of you who are members of the Maverick Nation. Again, Bert does this whole thing. I lead the Bert heads, and I'm just the spokesperson for people who think outside the box. You know, I'm just the spokesperson, the knucklehead who has the audacity to say what people like me are thinking. It's just I'm the one who's going to go out there and say, no, really, this is the way it is. Um, you know, and like what the topic is about tonight, about making your dreams happen. Again, Project Spirit wasn't exactly what I was looking for. I was actually looking for an old full-size Oldsmobile, really. I was looking for a big old boat of a car, I was looking for a 70s Olds Delta 88 or an Olds a 70s Olds Cutlass or something like that. Something old school like that. And believe it or not, I actually prefer big boats of a car. I mean, the bigger the better. That's just me. I like big cars. For any of you might make a compensation joke. No, I just like comfort like that. They ride nice. Um, you know, so that's what I was looking for. But instead, I found Project Spirit, a 1975 Ford Maverick. And the pictures I seen on Craigslist intrigued me. Princess Faye had just gotten some money on a loan, on her student loan, and I'm like, that's the car right there. I didn't tell her anything about the car, but I'm like, that's it right there. And she's like, all right, if you think you can make it work, you know, and I'm like, I believe I can. We got it, and it took me a month, and we've been enjoying her ever since. Funny story, I'll tell you. When we got Project Spirit, if you go back some of the early videos, she didn't look like much. She actually had probably about a half inch of dirt just caked onto her body. Um, and I knew that's what it was. She just needed one hell of a good car wash. And Princess Faye kept saying, uh, she's ugly. And I'm like, I don't think so. Well, finally, I got tired of hearing it, and I went out with some cleaning supplies, and I started. It was dark, so I had to work under the cover of darkness, if you will, and I started spraying her off real good, and with this degreaser, and I'm wiping the dirt away, and I could just see that Ford light blue, or robin egg blue, as we used to joke, and I'm like, that's it right there. And I got like, I actually worked for a couple hours just doing this, a little spot, working, spraying off spots, and then kept working my way across the hood and on the fenders and up on a roof and everything like that. And finally, I got enough of her uncovered, and I went up and got Princess Faye brought her out onto the balcony of where we live, turned on the balcony light, and I pointed at Project Spirit, and I said, "Now, what do you think?" And immediately she's like, "All right, you win. I changed my mind." She actually looks pretty snazzy. How long have I been growing my hair? Well, I used to donate my hair, and I got tired of doing that. I would say I've had my hair very. Yeah, it's my hair actually reaches about the middle of my back now. I've been my hair's been long, and when I say long hair is shoulder length and beyond. I've been growing my hair for probably 6 years. 6 years I've had long hair. And every now and again I would cut my hair short. Um, I would donate my hair, and immediately I started growing my hair back out. I will tell everybody right now, um, you know, I started growing my hair long at the age of 17. Oh no, I'm sorry, 18. Uh, as soon as I moved out, my dad and my mom both disapproved of me having long hair, and I'm like, well, I'm old enough to make my own decisions, and I would get into long debates on it. Well, as soon as I moved out, I did what I want, you know. And anybody wanted to argue with me, it's like, what are you gonna do? Send me into my room? I just go home. And people didn't know what to say to that. Okay, why are people against long hair? Here in the Midwest, which uh, gets its name appropriately, the Bible Belt. Again, this is going to be off topic of what this live stream is about. Here in the Bible Belt, and the Bible Belt it's through the Midwest and really extends way into the deep South. Um, there's supposedly some passage in the Bible that says that, you know, something to the effect of that it's a shame for a man to have long hair. Uh, and being that it's the Bible Belt, they like to take certain passages and beat you half to death with them. And when I was a teenager, first on my own, I was a real serious churchgoer, and there was numerous things that led up to a certain point when I said, well, no, I don't want to conform to what people think I should be. I want to conform to what I want to be. And in the end, I basically had said, you know what? I don't want to be Christian anymore. If we're if we're not going to look at the greater picture, we're only going to focus on what some book says that we don't even really, there's not enough basis there to say that that this is the right way. If you look at the Bible, morality never really actually comes. If you try to live morality out of the Bible, you'll just end up in prison. Okay. And knowing that, at uh, in my late teens, that's when the conversion happened to paganism, and and to this day, every now and again, somebody will come up and say, "Oh, men shouldn't have long hair." I look at them and say, "I'm Native American. I do what I want. I don't live by your Christian standards." And immediately, when I say Native American, I don't live by Christian standards. I believe in the old ways. Immediately, he did. He did. But point that out to them, and they get really mad. Real quick, I'll tell you a funny story. On my Facebook page, a friend of mine, um, and she, I'm gonna have to change the title of this video. I have a friend on Facebook. Um, she's a she's a mom about my age. Actually, her and I went to high school together, and she was in a small town here in Missouri, and some gal kind of, she was walking down the aisle getting, some grocery store early in the morning, just looking to buy some items to cook breakfast for her kids. They were evidently on some camping trip, and this gal you know, uh, kind of pulled her husband away, almost like towards the other side of the aisle, because and said, "You need to stay away from that." And she was all upset. She's like, "I'm a that," and it boiled down to because she likes tattoos. Okay, um, and she was all upset. She was very angry and disheartened by this. And I turned around and said, "Welcome to the Bible Belt." You know, um, and if you've not checked out this guy, and I even suggested for Christians because it's a wake up call. It's a serious wake up call. There's a guy who's a diehard atheist, and being a diehard atheist, this guy kind of woke me up to some ideas. Me being pagan, he kind of woke me up a little bit and got me rethinking, uh, if you will, what he said strengthened my faith, but at the same time made me think outside of the box. Uh, and if you will, it made me a stronger pagan by listening to an atheist. In the sense that it made me think more in the ways of common sense. And that guy is Aaron Ra. Um, he 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 really made me think in a more common sense standpoint, and I guess you could say made me stronger in my faith. So I would definitely suggest his videos on YouTube for anybody, and I mean anybody of religious standpoint, or if you're atheist, agnostic, whatever. Um, I would definitely suggest his work. He definitely and made me think stronger about science as well. Just an awesome guy all the way around. I definitely suggest his work. And so if you've not checked out anything that he's got, I definitely suggest it after this live stream. I'm going to have to rename this video because what it started off as, and I already got a title for it, so no worries there. Got to think on the fly. Part of me and Prince Magnum got to think on the fly, but that's okay because that just goes to show that, again, members of the Maverick Nation can point me in the right direction on videos that I really need to do. Um, that's the awesome thing about this. That's right. And again, I actually had no idea for what I was going to do, and it started off as one idea, and it just kept that snowball effect. That's awesome. You know, um, and I guess and I know what I'm going to what I'm going to title this as. Um, what I'm probably going to do is kind of there's a video I'm wanting to do, kind of the message for millennials, because there was a gentleman who came on to one of my live streams, and I ended up giving some strong suggestions because I don't do advice. I do suggestions. Advice is basically, to me, advice is somebody who tried something, failed at it, and misery loves company. Suggestions is what I have done, and now I'm conveying that to you, or maybe somebody has done something, and now I'm in a similar situation, and I'm seeking that life experience, and they'll say, well, here's what I did. And I can take it, leave it, or I can apply it in a modified sense, and that's, personal experience speaks volumes over advice any day of the week, because again, misery loves company. So I'll tell anybody that right now. I don't take advice. I take suggestions. Um, Someone with advice, I can tell them where they can take that advice. They can shove it. Well, you get the idea. Might be children watching. you know, that's just kind of a Prince Magnum policy. But just goes to show again the Maverick Nation, helping Prince Magnum, along the way. Um, so again, uh, you know, I guess I'll just go ahead and kind of prelude to that live stream. Opportunity doesn't have to knock. You can just go up and knock on opportunity's door. You know, uh, which we'll talk more about in depth. If you want your dreams to happen, get to work. You know, um, doesn't matter if you think it's a successful job or a successful career. Just get out there and work. Okay, that's how you make money. Just go to work. And work hard. Hard work does pay off. Okay, that whole what they meant by work smarter, not harder, is not. We have changed the meaning of it, and what we mean it today is not what it actually means. But that again, that's up and coming. Might actually just do that live stream tomorrow instead of the initial one that I thought about. Um, don't spend money you haven't got. Um, you know, Walk to the beat of your own drum. Blah 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 blah. But anyhow, back to what I was talking about. That friend of mine, she was all upset, and like I said, she, Bible Belt stuff pisses me off. Um, I'll tell you all a funny story. Um, back, back whenever I was first getting into paganism, I used to. Oh, you love the old stories. Well, all right, all right. Since we're uh, since we're telling stories, and I mean this was supposed to be do-it-yourself budget hot rodding. I'll tell you all a funny story. Back, we'll do a good racing story. Um, yeah, for those who don't know, I used to really be heavy into street racing whenever I was a teenager, and my I guess you could say my weapon of choice for street racing was a 1978 Camaro that was powder blue. Had a 60s style Z28 competition, cowl induction hood scoop. It's about the back, because the way it was on the hood, it was about almost 4 inches tall in at the back opening near the windshield. My dad and I had a hell of a time getting that molded on there, but we got it. And it had a 400 cubic inch small block Chevy under the hood, a 350 turbo automatic, and the gears were really high in that rear end, 308s. And we had some people called them aluminum magsters. Some of us called them aluminum slots. It was basically a 5 slot aluminum wheel, which it's getting very popular again to run those wheels. And I think, if I remember correctly, there's a company called US Mag Wheels, and I think even American Racing Wheels and Mickey Thompson offers those wheels. They were very popular in the 70s, and you could actually buy the Ford Pinto with them direct from the factory with those wheels. Well, I had a set of 5 lug uh, aluminum slots on these on my Camaro, and the back wheels were about 10 inches wide, deep dish. And this was a popular look from the 70s, and here I was doing it in the 90s. Again, walking to the beat of my own drum. And I know there's going to be some people that'll come on. They'll remember that car when they watch the playback. The top speed in this car, again, a small block 400, it wasn't exactly, it didn't have the numbers on paper, to be a super fast engine. There was a lot of things that added up to this car being fast. Its top speed was 155. How do I know this? Well, I had a buddy who had a car that went his car topped out at 155, and he was able to pace me, and we were able to keep up with each other on a stretch of road. And he's like, yeah, this is what it does. Sweet. I had some old carburetor guru years ago. He's not with us anymore. Work on it, and just had a lot of work tied up in this thing. And my dad and I built this car, and I started driving it. It was a lot of fun. Um, I was um, I was getting ready to, I picked up my my high school sweetheart, and this was after high school, from Mineral Area College, and she was in college for computer information systems. I still to this day don't even know what the hell that means. Uh, she I picked her up, and we were getting ready to head back to Pilot Knob, which is, she lived in Pilot Knob. Actually, the house she lived in at that time, uh, there's a hospital there now. That's another story for another time. Um, and I know I've told this story, and I'll tell it again. It's probably going to even be better in a live stream. Um, we're hitting the on ramp. The stretch of road now is called 221, but back then it was, I forget what it was called back then, but it connected into to a road that they changed the name of. It used to be, oh, you've never heard this story? Okay. It used to connect into a stretch of road called V Highway, and years ago, and Missouri changed the name years back, and it's like, why? We all know it as V Highway, when you douchebags. Uh, I'm sitting there coming on the off ramp of Highway 67, and I'm just sitting there, and I had an open spot. Um, and I punch down the gas. Of course, back tires light up, and I come out sideways in the car and shot down the road. And at the time, the car was having some problems with overheating, so I had to stop and double check a few things and kind of straighten it out a little bit. But it didn't matter. I ended up just pulling the thermostat and said, screw it. You could do that with those old cars. Matter of fact, I could actually do that with Project Spirit. They didn't care. Them old cars don't care. You can just take thermostat out and run it. They ran about 160 degrees then. Never had an overheating problem with it ever after that. But anyhow, when I did that, there was this guy who had an 80s style, I think it was like an 85, 86 Camaro, and he had a lot of money tied up in it. And he told me this story later on. Uh, but I'm sitting there, he's behind me, and he looks over at his girlfriend, and he says, see that car up in front of me, that Camaro that's sitting up there? And she's like, yep. He said, that's the car, that's the car to beat in town. No one can really touch that car. Um, so he's like, I'm gonna beat him today. I'm gonna beat this guy. And she says, okay. She cinched up her seatbelt, and as soon as I did that little burn, that actually was a big burnout. It was a huge cloud of smoke and everything. Car sliding sideways. He kind of scrunches down in his seat and says, "Yep." And he starts tootling out. She's like, "Well, what the heck?" And aren't you gonna race him? He says, "Not today, babe. Not today." And come find out, he had a lot of money tied up in that car. So I guess you could say I won by default. I don't know how you would, that was a fun car. Every once in a while I'll get reminiscing about it, and it's like I should have kept that car, but no, I shouldn't have. I was given the ultimatum. It was either my high school sweetheart or the car. And some people to this day still tell me, "Oh, you should have kept the car. Got rid of the woman." And I'm like, "No, she gave me two beautiful daughters. I think I came out. I think I came out ahead on that deal." But that's just kind of how I feel about it. I mean, she gave me two beautiful daughters. So in that regard, I guess you could say, and so I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but I think I had the better end of the deal. Uh, Even though I don't get, eventually I'll get to see those daughters, and um, we'll get to patch up our relationship, and I'll get to explain some things, and then once that information's out, their mother will have a hard time explaining, why didn't you, why didn't you give dad a second chance? So I mean, that'll be on her. Um, the ball will be on her court. But again, that's another subject for another time. So there you go. There's an old racing story about old Blue Thunder. That's what I called the car. And I to this day I know how to get that blue that was on Blue Thunder. And I've showed there's a video talking about Blue Thunder, and if you will, going by that that particular color, what you have to do is you have to get the white pearlescent color that was on the Oldsmobile Aurora, and you have to put a couple of drops of metallic blue in it, and that actually made the baby blue that went on Blue Thunder. It was actually, I think, if I remember correctly, it was about 5 to 6 drops of metallic blue. So there you go. So it was a very specific custom color, which, if I get a chance, maybe that might be the color that goes back on Project Spirit. And get to have a little bit of my history, my past in the present. So who knows? Who knows? It depends on what I feel that day when it comes time for the paint. But anyhow, all right. I really did not intend for this live stream to be that long, but hey, again, a member of the Maverick Nation came on. He challenged my thinking and got me talking, and here we are. Again, before I end this live stream, make your dreams happen. Get to work on them. All right. That brings us to the usual spot. If you have any money to drop into the Patreon account, please do so. Please do so. Thank you again to my boy who was kind enough to jump on. I believe that's good old Charlie, who jumped on and helped the creative juices. Again, if you have any money to put in the Patreon account, please do so. I've got an awesome giveaway. Who knows what will be in that giveaway? I can tell you right now, actually, while we are on that subject, I will show some of the things that is in that giveaway um, for the Patreon account. I have here some stickers from Excel. I got these stickers when I was actually they came with the super stock coil from Excel that is on Project Spirit right now. So that's where these came from. So literally, I bought these. Kind of nifty. When we did the Azalea Festival, included in kind of a door prize giveaway package with some Summit Racing stickers. Okay, so that is included. Included something that came from the live stream when we were at Country Days in Farmington. What they did so people knew how to vote for the People's Choice, they used a deck of cards. Well, the card that I had to put on my windshield for that car show is right here. Three of Diamonds is what I drew. And it sat in the windshield. And I'm sure if you look, excuse me, I'm drinking way too much coffee. I'm sure if you look at the live stream long enough, you will actually see this on the dash, or depending on what part of the day, was underneath the windshield wiper of Project Spirit. So there you go with that. Also, I wasn't kidding when I said I had a pocket-sized big book to give away. Um, in this pocket-sized big book, is the original 164 pages that has continued to be reprinted. The same, it has not changed since its first edition in 1939 when the big book was first printed. Real quick, why am I putting this in the giveaway? Well, number one, I have a small collection of big books. I actually have third edition big books, which has been out of print since 2000. Um, and the third edition came into printing in like 1974, 75. So I have two different copies of that. I have numerous copies of the fourth edition, along with the very first big book that I ever purchased, which is this one right here. Well, so I really don't need this particular big book, but I know someone out there will. And what I will actually do is in one of the next live streams for Sober Talk is I'm going to actually, I'll make a live stream where I will actually specifically, to raise the money on the Patreon account, because all that money will go directly into Project Spirit. And whoever is able to donate the most, what we will get this package. And along with, I've already bought the flash drive. The mini movie that's going to be coming out, they will, whoever it is that flash drive will include a special edition. Basically, the music will be different for the mini movie that's getting ready to come out, exposing the Washington, Missouri Police Department as being unfit for law enforcement. But this big book will be specially autographed along with a special message. Right, I haven't done it, so you'll be able to. I haven't done it yet, but we'll do that in a live stream where I will personally autograph it. And I might even go so far as to autograph it with my real name as well. Ooh, and that's what will be in the giveaway. So whoever's able to donate the most on the Patreon account will have that available to them. So there you have it. That's just what I have already put in here. And then, of course, I need to get my ass in gear on that mini movie, because we are now a little over a month before the end of the giveaway. Again, we are looking for a goal of $1,000 on that Patreon account so we can make some really awesome stuff and happen to Project Spirit, which a lot of that money will go back into suspension rebuilds, where we'll be able to really make her more of a comfortable ride and to make her grip the road even better than what was intended from the factory back in 1974 when she was built for 1975. Show you guys how that works out. We'll do that. Yeah. So there you have that. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, or Twitter Face, or however you guys want to do it. I haven't been able to look at my Twitter account because my Facebook page just explodes every time I turn around. That's just one of those things. Also, again, you've heard me all say it a million times. Get out there and work on a project. Okay? Work on something. There's a reason why I tell you that. Okay? If you're not making it happen, you're living a pipe dream. Okay? That's the best suggestions I can give to anybody. If you're not making it happen, you're living a pipe dream. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off your feet. Sweep them off their feet today. Guys, if you don't keep the romance alive and well, you will see divorce court at some point. Just saying. And we'll have to do a live stream talking about this one eventually. Happy 24. Thank you.